What's the best touring experience you've ever had, or gig experience for that matter?
Oh, I'm going to go with the Cot. As I said earlier, we toured together just in different bands last year, but we went up the coast, and in Townsville there was this. We played what we were told before we'd played. It was an underground venue, and we're like, okay, this sounds interesting.
Sounds sweet.
It sounds sweet and interesting. But the impression we got before we actually played was that it was this big sort of hall that people spray painted, like they customised the spray paint for the bands that were playing. But we got this impression that it was a big venue. And anyway, we met this guy who had teed up the show the morning of when we were supposed to play. And we're in the Queen Street equivalent of Townsville. And there's a heap of like shops, like vacant shops up there. And anyway, we're going through this little door that's led us sort of 3 stories up in this
apartment block.
Yeah,
like an
apartment office
apartment block.
Yeah, like we walked in, and it was between 2 shop fronts. We'd walk in this door, and there was just like it looked pretty much like homeless people probably squatted there, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, and we went through this maze of stairwells, and we eventually got to this room, and it wouldn't have been bigger than 4 by 6 meters. And
it was like the size, a little bit bigger than the size of this studio, which doesn't help the listeners, but
yeah, and it's just
amusing for us.
Spray painted. At this point, we're all sort of treading very carefully, just so we didn't get stabbed by any Sharpies. But we were actually concerned for our lives at that point. But anyway, so we were really skeptical about this show, but by the time that we actually played, I reckon that was. You wouldn't have even known how many people that were there, but it was packed. Like, we had people going out onto balconies that this room led out onto, through hallways, and filling this whole level that we were playing in, of this like abandoned office building. So it was really quite awesome. Like, the environment of it, people were just getting into it it's really something. Like, I don't think many bands would ever get to experience something like that, so it was really fun.
Mind you, we got 2 songs into our set and the police broke it up.
Oh no! Why? Because it was too overwhelming.
It's in Townsville CBD, right? And it's just like, I don't think we were allowed to have the gig.
No.
I'm not even sure who organised it. And the police sort of walked in and they're like, "It's really loud in here. What is this? Does someone live here, or who's?"
To which we responded, "Don't know."
Who's in charge? And it was just a look of just amazement and confusion, I would say, on their faces, because they couldn't actually, put together that this was happening, that there was a band playing in the CBD just because we could.
And how did the word get out that you guys were going to be playing?
Don't know.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, we still don't know how that night happened, really. Yeah. As I said, we don't know really who organised it, whose building it was, and who told people it was happening. But it did, and it was really fun. So, yeah. I don't think that place operates anymore. I think we may have...
You shut it down.
Shut that down.
Oh, no, the poor people of Townsville. Yeah. I'm sure they never had a night like that.
Oh, I'm sure some of them have, yeah.
The Middle East used to play there, though. I think it was like a genuine sort of a thing, but...
By the time we got there, it was a rundown.
It was on its way down.
Yeah.
Indeed. Awesome. Well, I'm just going to play a quick track by Peter Bjorn and you're back on 4ZZZ this morning. We have in the studio Michael and Anthony from the Chutes. They're here to chat, and we also have this huge cardboard cutout. It's kind of a big poster of a guy in khaki.
William is
I think the name suits it. Let's find a pen and write it next to him. See, it was just sort of left in the 4ZZZ building. He's very pretty sort of male, I guess you could say. And he
has a man bag.
He does. He's I don't know. It's very interesting. Perhaps we'll take a photo, upload it to A Touch of Frost on 4ZZZ, the Facebook page, and you can see for yourself who this guy is. We're going to be
in the photo as well, though.
Indeed. You'll also get to see the lovely Michael and Anthony from the Chutes. But anyway, boys, males, men, gentlemen, I suppose, is a nice term.
I'm a gentleman. I am.
That's good.
I'm a boy.
Okay. Well, you're both studying law and commerce for you, Michael, and a Masters of Creative Writing for you, Anthony. And, both of those are sort of big commitments. So I was wondering how you find the time to maintain your band commitments.
You don't really. one
we just
dies
don't,
and
we
the
just
other
don't do one.
Yeah,
It's easy.
you pick. You have to pick one. This month it will be music. Now, I don't know. Like, how do you juggle that around, Michael?
Yeah, I think we've done surprisingly well, really. It's never really been an issue, maybe just because we just don't pay one attention at one given time.
One really, as long as you can manage to fit it in overall, but like at any one time, one generally suffers and the other one, well, you spend time on one thing, then you switch to the other. And but really, I suppose the scheduling helps as well. Like if you can say, we're going to be rehearsing, you know, this many times a week at this particular time, I suppose you can work around it then.
Yeah.
So, time and management, as they tell you at uni.
It's good though. It gives you a bit of perspective of life outside of music. Because I think I'd like to see a statistic, but I think a lot of musicians would just do the music and you sort of lose yourself a little bit when that's all you do. But I think it's good to do a little bit of everything.
You're activating the left and the right
That's
side
it.
of your
That's
brain.
it. The creative and the analytical.
Indeed.
I hope.
And do you ever feel like, well, I suppose it's less likely for law and commerce, but the creative writing side of things, does that sort of feed into your music?
Hey, we get creative in law and commerce.
Okay.
I'm telling you, some of those sums. Wow. How about that?
Yeah, no, I believe you. I was thinking about doing that instead of creative writing, actually, just to stimulate my creativity.
Probably would have been better.
Probably.
I can't believe you just did that.
I'm also curious, Anthony, why you just donned a pair of sunglasses in the studio for no reason.
These downlights are getting pretty harsh on my eyes, actually. I just saw them in front of Michael, and I was like, Michael looks great with these sunnies. I wonder if I can pull them off, but I can't, so I'll take them off now and place them back in front of Michael.
Never mind, Anthony.
Okay.
Poor Anthony.
Oh, boy. Speaking of studios, though, you were recording recently for the upcoming EP.
Mm-hmm.
What was the recording process like?
Well, it was pretty jam-packed into, like, we ended up writing the majority of the EP in 3 weeks before before we went into the studio. Which was really interesting. But in the end, I think that was almost ended up being a really good thing for the songs. As I said, because I only joined about a month before, and we started with about 12, after about a week of jamming new ideas, after I came in, I think there was about 12 songs, and we cut it down to 7. And so we really had to just cram a lot of writing into a short process.
It was a turbulent time as well, because when we were going in was the floods. So we were to start on the Saturday, and it had started flooding. Like the actual flood had started on probably the Wednesday or the Tuesday of that week. So, you know, there were questions about whether we were actually going to be able to get to the studio.
Michael was cut off in his suburbs, so he couldn't actually get to anywhere. So, in that 1 month, one whole week of that was Michael being stranded, and we couldn't rehearse or anything like that either.
So the day before, I did a little dummy run just to see whether I could actually get through to somewhere that could take me to the studio. And we made it. And so anyway, we got out there, and it was fine, but it was a bit stressful at the time, sort of working out whether it was going to happen or not.
And how long were you recording? How many days?
Yeah.
7.
So we're out at the studio for a week. It was Airlock Studios at Samford. So it's like a rural sort of a property that we've recorded there before. We did our first EP there. So you go out there, you stay out there, you take all your gear out and you record, and you can sort of sleep out there as well. There's like a sleeping quarters, which is wicked because you're out in the bush.
That's nice. It's like a school camp.
It is. It's like a school camp, except better.
Except so much better.
Except louder.
Luckily for us, because it had flooded, the sleeping quarters had flooded that week, and it had gotten all mouldy, and they pulled the carpet out. So when you were sleeping in there, like at one stage there was 5 of us sleeping in there. And all of us just inhaling mold. Like, it's really quite good. I think we were legitimately scared for our lives, and just
blue cheese, heaps of blue cheese all over the ground.
I'm sorry, I don't understand how that was a good thing. Just can you explain?
Helps make things more interesting.
Helps the vocal cords, you know, just opens those passages up.
Okay. Actually, our singer had to go home. He had to stop staying there because it was so bad for
It was effective.
his throat, his voice. But no, that was just a one-off thing because it had flooded that week. It's just very
bad
unfortunate.
timing.
Yeah, but no, we recorded with Yanto Browning, who's a great producer, and he's currently mixing our stuff, and so it's all been a really fun process. Like, we had a lot of fun in there, and as I said before, we captured a lot of it on video camera. There's going to be some videos up on our various social networking sites.
Awesome. You've jumped on the bandwagon with that. I'm just checking out the chutes.com.au, and you've got your Facebook, your MySpace, iTunes, and YouTube. So
look at that.
Michael, I didn't realise we had that.
Looks good, doesn't it? Look at that little video.
It does look quite professional. So
we are quite professional.
Yeah.
You took one of those videos down, I noticed.
I did.
Inappropriate?
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Clearly not to me, but seeing as I put it up in the first place. But
we won't mention what the video was.
Yeah,
but it was good stuff.
There was something rude on one of the videos, and apparently it could have offended some people, so we had to take it down. But,
okay. Well,
if there's popular demand and people want it back,
we'll bring it back.
Contact me on my email address or via the website.
Fabulous. And when are you expecting the EP to be complete?
Oh, this topic's up in the air as well. We've got to wait for someone to come back from Italy, and then the mixes have got to get done, but hopefully by about mid-June. We're hoping to release it about mid-June. So, everyone sort of pencil that month in. Big circle it in your calendar.
You got something on. If you're getting married, just don't get married.
Yeah.
Cross it out, because
maybe push
you're going to
it
need that time.
Just to
listen,
prepare and then calm down afterwards. At least a week either way.
I see. Unless they could, dedicate their wedding to you guys and have it as the wedding soundtrack.
It could be the wedding singer.
True.
Potentially. So
look out, bridesmaids.
If that
We're coming.
happens, definitely upload a video and people can check it out.
Definitely.
All right. So, and you'll be hopefully touring by the end of the year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So there we go. But
hopefully might do an East Coast run or a Sydney Melbourne run. We'll see what happens.
Indeed. All right. So if people are wanting to find out more about you, go to thechutes.com.au, or you can check out their MySpace, the Chutes Music, or find you on Facebook.
That's it.
Which is all linked through thechutes.com.au, so it makes it quite easy, really.
You did well there, didn't you?
Yeah, thanks, man. That's all right.
Very up to date with the social networking. Kudos to you. All right, let's leave with another one of the tracks from your soon-to-be released EP. It's called Number 78. And did you want to give a bit of an introduction to this song as well?
Yeah, this one's just a bit of a power rock song, I guess. But it's really different in terms of some of the time signatures in there and everything. Yeah, it's not just a straight rock song. But we'll let you judge it for yourself when you have a listen.
Fabulous. Well, Michael, Anthony, it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for having us in.
You're welcome. Okay, let's take a listen to the Chutes with Number 78. You're on 4ZZZ. Keep listening. We have Z-Lines coming for you at 10 o'clock. And here it goes.
3, 4.